And welcome to Lovebabz, Lovetalk. I'm Babz Rawls. You know, if it's Thursday morning around 9 o'clock, I'm on. So today I have a guest. I'm talking today because I like to talk Thursdays and Fridays, or sometimes just Fridays. But I'm talking to Dr. Belinda Carberry today from the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated, you know, the SMART organization of the Delta Pi chapter, and Teacherama, which is happening this weekend. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great.
Grab your headsets
okay,
so you can hear yourself. How are you?
I'm great. And you?
It's nice to see you.
It's great being here.
I love when Deltas run the world. Everybody wants to talk about Illuminati. They better talk about Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Well, this is the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa
yes.
Incorporated. Yes.
This is the educators.
That's right.
Connection, right?
Yes.
All right. So tell me about that.
Okay. A little history. The National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated was incorporated in 1923 in Jersey City. 8 African American teachers got together to join this camaraderie, to talk about children, to talk about lesson planning, to talk about education.
And this was for the purpose of education.
For the purpose of education.
Okay, nothing else. Like there was like we're not having teas. We're not.
No, it was an educational. It's an educational sorority.
Okay, all right.
Yes, in order to qualify, you have to be a teacher in good standing.
And what does that mean?
That means that
you can't be beating people's kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to keep up with your
That's
educational
right.
pursuits, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yes. So we have about 100 chapters all over the United States.
Wow.
Yes, we do. And a couple in the West Indies and in Africa. We're looking at chapters there as well.
I don't know this organization except through the sorors that I know who are in this organization.
Right. We're the only chapter in New England.
Oh.
There are several chapters in New York and down the East Coast, in the Midwest, and Florida, on up Alabama, Georgia. But Delta Phi is the only chapter in New England.
Wow.
And yes, we are always looking to recruit more African American teachers and teachers of color, so that we can have that bond and be able to talk together about the issues that we are facing in education. Yes. So my real purpose today is to talk about Teacherama, which
I love that name, Teacherama.
That's one of our big projects for the year, where we are planning sessions with experts around education to support teachers, parents, and community stakeholders. This Saturday, we're meeting at Metropolitan Business Academy, and we have a number of experts coming in to talk about various topics, some including trauma with children. We have a Dr. David Johnson, who runs the Alive program in New Haven, and he's going to offer a workshop this Saturday.
Okay.
We have a young man out of Waterbury. His last name is Mosley, and he's running a workshop around activities for young men. We have a young lady doing something with Google in the classroom. Sex trafficking is an issue, and it comes into the schools. So we have a New Haven police officer coming in.
Okay, so before we talk about all of that,
Yeah.
why are we doing the Teacherama? Like, why is this? Is this the first year, or what year are we in?
We do Teacheramas every year. The purpose of it is to provide current information to parents, teachers, community people that impact student behavior.
Okay.
At home, in school. And if you have this toolbox of strategies, we can save more children. And that's the purpose of having the Teacheramas, to provide information where you can dig into your toolbox, bring out and save a child.
So, when did this start? When did y'all start doing Teacherama? And whose brainchild is it?
It's a part of the national concept. Every chapter in the United States, all of the chapters have certain projects that they have to do. And Teacherama is one of them. And all over the United States around this time of year, members of various national sorority chapters of Delta Phi chapters, we're doing these types of workshops.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this comes out of the educational sorority.
Yes.
And this is the thing that y'all do. You bring teachers together, students and parents. And this is solely about education and tools that you need to like have a successful educational experience.
For children, yes.
For children.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how do you plan it? Are you on the planning committee?
I am. As a matter of fact, I'm the president of the sorority
of course you
chapter.
Are.
And we have Dr. Shaka Felder McIntyre.
Yes.
And Kimberly Phillips, who's a teacher in New Haven.
All the powerhouse teachers.
Oh, yes.
I see y'all.
Yes. So they've been working very hard in putting this project together for Saturday. Yeah. And we even have sessions for parents. Dr. Shaka McIntyre has the Higher Heights. Higher Heights.
I've had 2 of my children come through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so she's providing workshops around essay writing and also the FAFSA process.
Oh, okay.
So parents are coming in for that session.
Yes, because that FFSA mess is mine. You need a degree to get through that.
Yes, indeed.
I've done it a couple of times with Brianna. I was like, oh, God, girl.
And being an English teacher myself, I always think that students need help around essay writing. And she's providing that workshop, too.
I didn't know you were an English teacher.
Yes.
See, I know you. I knew you were an educator, but I always known you as the principal of this, that, and the other thing.
I started out teaching English, drama, and journalism.
Really?
Yes.
Where'd you graduate from?
I went to Morgan State.
Really?
Yes, I did. And Johns Hopkins University.
Okay.
I did my 6th year at Southern and my doctorate at Columbia.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are retired from the Board of Education,
just
right?
retired June 30th.
Really?
Yes,
They're going to call you back. You know that, right?
43 years.
They're going to call you back. They were like, okay, look, all the best and brightest cannot retire. They're going to call you back because they're going to need you. So.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, though.
It is a good Well, I mean, do you feel like you wanted to retire? You were ready?
I wanted to start rewriting my dissertation. And I really want to do some more research around working with schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So you're the president of this organization.
Yes.
This chapter.
Yes.
And so now, what other things that you do? I know the Teacherama is coming up. Is that the biggest event that you do?
Well, we have our major fundraiser for the year is what we call the African American Legacy Luncheon.
Okay.
This year we're going to promote our scholarship luncheon. So we're going to have that in March.
So you give money away to kids?
We give money away to kids.
Wow.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. One thing that I'm really proud of, we had a young man who was trying to get into Morehouse this year. And he wasn't sure that he was going to get into Morehouse. And we told him if he did, we would up his scholarship. So he just sent us his letter showing us the that he did get into Morehouse.
Wow.
So we're happy to send him a little more money.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad because our kids need money because our HBCUs can't fund like the PWCs.
Right. That's
you know what I mean? I wish we could. So we got to be thinking about that. All these Greek organizations.
We need to
think about how we can full ride kids.
That's correct.
So, Dr. Carberry, where are you seeing education these days? Because you've been in this game a long time.
I believe money isn't everything in education. Students still need to know how to add, subtract, multiply, learn their fractions. You don't need tons of money to teach kids the skills that they need. Kids still need to learn how to pronounce words, read words, understand words. comprehend. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. I mean, libraries are still open.
Yes,
can
they
read
are.
Books. You don't need computers on every desk to teach a child how to read or do measurements or fractions. So I believe that if you really work on the basics, teach kids some basic skills, they will come. Build the basic foundation, and they can build on those skills.
Yeah, because you know what? If we're graduating kids who can't read and write, then they get to college and they have to take remedial. That remedial is just the basics.
That's right.
Right?
And they're paying all that money for remedial courses and never get to the major courses.
Yeah. And that's, and college ain't cheap.
It sure is.
Even at the community college level, it is not cheap.
That's right.
So what do you hope to do with this Teacherama? Like what's the expectation?
Well, the expectation is to actually recruit more teachers, to keep major issues in the forefront, to have experts come in and talk to teachers. The theme of our Teacherama is building your toolbox. That means having enough ideas and strategies to address the issues that kids bring to the classroom, because they're coming with trauma,
a lot,
trafficking issues, parent issues, and a lot of teachers aren't trained to deal with all the issues that kids bring to them. But if we give them some strategies to use, or at least know where to find the information, then perhaps we can move kids along faster. So that's the purpose of our organization, is to provide teachers with strategies to help them with their craft.
Good. Are you embraced by the Board of Education?
We are. Our new superintendent has been in our presence. I know at the back to school program where they were giving out book bags, she took some pictures with some of the sorors. She knows that we exist. We need to have a sit down with her to let her know that we are willing and able to support her in her endeavors, because her goals are the same as ours, to support children and families. So she knows we exist.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're not some fly-by-night upstart organization.
No.
I mean, you all have been around
since 1983 in New Haven. And we, like I said, we started in 1923 in Jersey City. And we have over 100 chapters throughout the country.
So I see on here, which is a little disheartening to me, active school shooter training.
Yes.
This is the day we live in. I understand. Did you ever think that you'd see that in your lifetime?
Well, see, I'm out of Baltimore.
Okay. Okay, enough said.
Okay. I went to school in Baltimore, and we had an active community. I was around when we had the riots and all, so
okay.
I'm used to things happening, but for it to come into the schools, and yes, we need that type of training. I really think so. Active shooter training. I mean, it happens.
Yes.
So we have to be trained.
And we have to be prepared. Okay. Yeah. So, Dr. Carberry, how do you get these new Jack teachers to come in? How do you get new teachers these days? Like, what do you say? Because, when you were growing up, teaching was an honorable profession. It's still an honorable profession. But people wanted to do it. Like, they thought, I'm called to this, I'm doing this. Do you still feel that people feel that? Like, is it hard recruiting teachers to this profession?
I think teaching is still honorable, as you said. And I think there are people out there, but the money doesn't help you. You can teach about going to Dubai and various places, and then you can't afford yourself to go. I mean, we teach our kids to reach for the stars, but the way the economy is now, a lot of teachers can't afford to take the trips, live in fancy houses because of the economy. And then I hear teachers saying, well, we taught this kid and he's become a professional basketball player, making more money than I make. Is that fair? But look what you did for that kid. He could have stayed where he was, in the trauma, in the mess, and not gotten out of it. So you have to weigh what your real passion is and what you're really giving to
You're not
going
to get baller money being a teacher.
That's right.
That's right?
That's right.
So you have to know that going in.
That's right.
So something else has to be...
It's a passion.
Yes.
You know that you are spreading good seed, that you're making the earth better.
Because teachers are really are the foundation for... I mean, everybody talks about their favorite teacher. Like, everybody has a teacher in their history that sort of believed in them more than anybody else, that pushed them along. Right. You know, that was the go-to person, right? So we need teachers to sort of do that.
Right.
Although...
Yeah, we are their motivators. They say motivation comes from within, but if we're not out there showing them that life can be beautiful and you can move along, who else is going to do it?
Yes.
You know, so for 43 years, I did it. And I have a lot of children who are adults who come back to me or see me driving and stop the traffic and say, I remember when you told me such and such, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And, you know, their life is beautiful. Then you know that you've made a difference. And that's what we're placed on earth to do, I think, to make a difference.
And so you were, the last I heard, you were at Polly McCabe.
I was at Polly McCabe for about 3 years working with the young girls who were becoming parents. And that was an eye opener.
I had forgotten that school still existed.
Yes.
Because I remember when I was a kid, it was whispered, you know, like if you knew people who went there, like, you know, it was like a whole stigma kind of thing. But now it's not.
Well, I don't think Polly McCabe is open right now
because
of the budget cuts and all. But I found some of the most creative and intelligent young ladies there you ever want to meet. As a matter of fact, one student just finished her master's at Southern, and I think she's about to work on her doctorate. She wants to become a teacher. But you can't stigmatize these young ladies because they are mothers at early ages, but they have all of these grand ideas of moving on and becoming successful, and a lot of them do. So my job was to nurture them.
And that school was open for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Because I remember it from when I was a kid.
Yes.
And I knew people who went and are
doing well.
and are successful.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but in those days they felt strongly that pregnant girls ought to be in their own population for a lot of reasons.
Well, the only reason I see a girl needing to be out of the regular school is for safety, if she can't take the steps. And basically that's it, because most of the resources are in the larger high schools, and most of the teachers are there too. So you're doing them a disservice by keeping them in a small location. They're missing their friends. They don't get all of the courses that they need. So if you can service the girls in their own schools, I thought that was.
And I think that's the thinking now. That wasn't the thinking 30 years ago. 30 years ago, it was a whole different kind of thing.
Hide them.
Yes. So you were a principal too.
Yes. I just retired as principal of a K-8 school in New Haven. And I've been at high school. I've been at Hill House. I remember you at Hill House. Yeah. Sheridan, Wexler as principal. I've been around, and it was a marvelous journey. Marvelous journey. Every day was exciting. I never got up and said, "Oh, this is boring." You always had something interesting, funny, serious to deal with. You know.
Did you enjoy the administrative part, or did you enjoy being in the classroom? Which did you enjoy more?
My reason for becoming an administrator was so that I could help more teachers.
Okay.
As a teacher, I felt that I could do more to share my successes with other teachers. But I miss teaching English and literature uh, and drama
Mm-hmm.
and the newspaper.
Oh, I'm a newspaper girl. You know that.
I did miss that, but I do enjoy supporting teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they needed resources, and I thought that I could connect to help them with the resources. I was really good with discipline and talking with kids and their parents, and they needed like an ombudsman to be the go-between, So that's why I went into administration, not because I wanted to be the boss, but I just wanted to be more supportive to my colleagues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like a wonderful thing. You will be called back because you got a very calming sort of place. So now, do you stay on top of all the new techniques that come out for teachers? Because I always hear these new techniques. I'm not an educator. I've been an educator, but I'm not an educator like the way that some of you all are. But
yeah,
there's always new techniques. There's always new sort of things to try. Are you a fan of those kinds of things, or?
I'm a fan of the basics. I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 sons and a grandson.
Like, you don't need no calculator. You're gonna do this longhand division,
right? Because you don't know the concept if you're always using a calculator. And if you look at kids who are growing up using the computers, they can't read cursive.
Mm-hmm.
They can barely print. Everything is on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a beautiful cursive handwriting, but I let someone read it one day. I gave them something in cursive. They said, "What is this?" And they couldn't read it. And I thought my cursive
I just heard about this whole kids are not learning cursive, which frightens me because if you cannot sign your name, do you know what I mean? And somebody else can sign your name and you cannot sign. That harkens back to like slavery to me.
Yeah.
When people were writing like symbols for their names, X's and things. Yeah. And so that's troubling. That kids can't write in cursive or read it.
Right, that's true.
And that's a basic thing. Why are we not doing the basics? Do we think that the basics is just not innovative and technically savvy?
Oh, I think when new educators come on board, they are wrapped around an idea that makes them feel comfortable. And there are many ways of learning and presenting information. And the thing that bothers me or scares me is that we're going to take one technique and work with that for 2 to 3 years, and then somebody else new come in and come up with another idea. So we switch over with the new math, and there's always a new math. And
always a new math.
And you talk to parents,
and they can't do the new math.
Can't do the math. So we need to educate the parents as well, or have classes right beside the children so the parents can help them with homework. Because a lot of times the homework isn't getting done. It's because children don't understand it and they take it home and their parents don't understand it. So it makes for a difficult situation with all these new ideas coming up. And the training is not there for parents. But I notice in Baltimore, but in New Haven, the parent organization is moving along very nicely. They're providing a lot of workshops for parents, and they're very active.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm noticing that in New Haven now. So I'm hoping that they will provide workshops for parents, elementary school children, show parents how this new math is being done, so they can help their kids.
So what is your thoughts on homework? Because I hear these competing thoughts about homework.
Schools, yes.
Too much homework, not enough homework.
Yeah.
Now, as a parent of 4 kids, homework was the bane of my existence. Yes.
It keeps you busy in the
Oh
evenings.
my God. It would be so much homework. I was like, oh Lord.
I believe homework should be a reflection of what has been taught in the classroom during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Kids should have to come home and review what they learned during the day, because kids leave the classroom, and because somebody in the hall is doing something, they forget what they just learned in the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
and they never open their notebooks to see or review what the information that was given during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe it should be quiet time at home to review and recap what happened the day before, because our kids' memories are very short on things like homework.
Oh yeah, not on their favorite songs
right,
though.
Right.
But on
Yeah.
Listen, I was a kid, I remember. So I get it.
Yeah. And I think our students don't know how to study. And that would be a very good study mechanism for kids to really have to review what was taught the day before and come back the next day and take a short quiz. There should be a process. Review what you did in the class. First thing when they come back into the classroom, have a short quiz to see if you can remember or give back some of the information.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the way it sticks.
And so you were around for Leave No Child Behind.
Oh, yes.
What did you think of that? Because there was two schools of thoughts on that. People hated it. People said, okay, we need to make some changes. There needs to be some accountability. Okay.
And that changed with the new people coming in. And like I say, you get new people when they bring their own ideas. And that's the way education has been from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You bring the new group in, they have their new ideas. So, like I said, the basics, if you're teaching our kids reading, writing, and arithmetic, then whatever other skills that come in, our kids will have a basic foundation. It's like building a house. You can't build a huge, beautiful house without a solid foundation. And that's what we need to concentrate on, in my estimation, with our younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they get to high school, then we won't have to say we're graduating kids who can't read. It's the basic foundation.
Does that trouble you that we're graduating kids that can't read?
Oh, definitely. Because that means they can't read their contracts for jobs, write an application or resume.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, that does bother me. And if they don't have the skills to go to interview, that leaves them in the dark as well.
So when does reading, like I used to run Jumpstart for young children.
Oh.
I loved it. It's for the,
Mm-hmm.
school readiness for 3 to 5 year olds. And we were in the New Haven Public Schools, and it was launched by Yale in New Haven.
I remember.
And it's still up and running.
Mm-hmm.
They've just come back to New Haven.
Really?
Yes, I spoke at the AmeriCorps launch last year last year. And they are back in New Haven again.
Oh, we had them at Wexler when I was the principal there. Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed at teaching children to read in the ages of 3 to 5 was so foundational. Like it's almost damn near too late if you're starting at 8.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
yes.
Or 7.
Yes.
That 3 to 5 to learn how to hold a book, to turn the page right, and to recognize words was critical. And I took that Jumpstart method and used it with my own children, because I'm like, I was old school. People would always ask me, like, what does it take to, raise successful, to train successful children in academics? And I was like, reading. You read to the child every day consistently. There's no magic to that.
Yeah, and you have books in the home,
Books in
newspapers,
the home.
magazines.
Can I tell you how many homes I went in?
You couldn't find one.
One, not even a TV guide. But I'd see a big TV and a lot of DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm I know this is judging. I am, because we're not preparing kids. I mean, some homes are not set up for success.
Right.
It's got to mirror what's happening in school. So what we did at Jumpstart, kids would go home with books, and we trained kids to build their own libraries. So by the end of the year, they'd have a bunch of books that were their books that they enjoyed reading, And I thought that was a good thing. That was one of my favorite things about Jumpstart, that we help children build their little libraries.
And they do what they see their parents doing
Yes.
as well. You know, you don't see your parents reading, then they don't read.
Can I just tell you, I remember when I came home my freshman year in college, and my mother's bedroom, she had a bookcase bed, so she had a lot of books. So I so for Christmas we gave her, my sister and we gave her a couple of books, and she goes, I don't really like to read. And I was like, Mom, I was like, we saw you with books on your bed open. We seen books in your bookcase. She's like, oh no, that was for show. I just wanted y'all to.
Isn't that something?
And it was my sister and I were stunned by that. I was like, what? She's like, no, I don't really like reading. She's like, but I never told y'all that. So I always just had books around because I wanted y'all to be readers.
Yeah. And you read to your children while they're in the womb. As soon as they come out, you have soft covered books for them.
Yes.
My boys were interested in sports, so we had every sports magazine there was.
Mm-hmm.
When they were 3 years old, they were trying to read Sports Illustrated. And after a while, we didn't have to bother about them or going to school saying your kids can't read. They can't do math, because they could calculate those scores on the scoreboard. So at least they could add and subtract.
And your sons are famous basketball players.
They are, but they went to college. Both of them have their degrees.
Yes, he's like, I'm not playing that.
No. We had books before ball in our house.
Oh, that's the original books before ball.
Yes, indeed.
I know their faces was long, but they did it. But look how successful they are.
That's right.
Tell people who your sons are.
Oh, my goodness. Toby Carberry is my son. He's one of the coaches at Yale University, the boys basketball team.
Yep.
A degree in English and a master's degree in sports science.
Okay.
And he does a lot around the city with young kids with basketball.
We see him.
And he also has 3 little novels out called the Sunny Chronicles.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes,
you tell me you got to come see me and talk about those.
Oh, okay. And then I have a younger son, Tobin, and he's in Denmark now, and he's playing basketball all over Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing quite well. He's the man over there right now.
Good for him. You've raised some beautiful sons.
Yeah, and they receive their own scholarships to go to college.
It's like, look, we're not going to fund foolishness. Y'all want to go, find the money and
that's right.
Get on out there.
Get some good grades.
Get some good grades.
And a talent.
It's like because your parents have done it.
Right.
Like we went all the way through, so now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I believe kids can do it. I grew up in Baltimore City.
And you've seen a lot.
And I've seen a lot.
And it's still a very depressed area.
It is. And I wasn't always the brightest bulb on the tree, but I had a teacher to say, Belinda, if you try hard and study hard, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still hear her voice to this day. And I know that I've shared that same type of information with kids. Keep trying. And they've been very successful.
But look at that. All it takes is one good teacher to be on your team. Right. And you want to produce for that one teacher.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of great teachers in our sorority. The
Yes,
National
we
Sorority
do.
of Phi Delta Kappa.
Mm-hmm.
Delta Phi Delta.
And in Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Yes.
I mean, it's like overrun with teachers.
Yes.
Like there's a teacher every third person.
That's right. So our goal is to have more teachers come into our educational sorority and provide workshops for other educators and parents and community members, so everybody will be on the same page and have a toolbox of strategies to continue to help children grow and develop.
So when you plan this, when you plan a Teacher-Rama every year, what goes into the planning? Do you look at what's happening topically and say, you know what, this is going on, let's put something in place to address whatever is happening right now, or do you put in some stuff that's, you know, like everybody wants every year X, you know, the teachers want.
Yeah, and that's what we do. We look at the major hot topics And last year we had Mesa Akbar come in because she had just published her book,
Urban Trauma.
Urban Trauma.
She just celebrated 10 years at Integrated Wellness.
Yes. And we had her to come into our Teacherama, and she was the major speaker. And we had some support people come in to work with her. She presented her book, and we had Jerry Streets in, we had Anya Harrison to put their spin on what's going on with children in New Haven. And that was a successful Teacherama.
Okay.
Yes. This year we're looking at several sessions for parents and stakeholders and professionals to come in. But last year we only had one speaker. In the past, we've had a panel with Dr. Comer and other educators, Dr. Mayo. And this is how we try to bring the community together around a hot topic.
Because we've got some talent in this town.
Yes,
like we have a lot of educational talent.
Brilliant.
You know,
people.
I mean, from Comer to Mayo to to all these wonderful people, to Dr. Felder, to you, to Monica Joyner and her whole family of educators.
I remember Monica when she was a student at Hill House, and brilliant young lady.
She is brilliant.
Yes.
So there's a lot of talent in this town, education wise. So,
and we've made tremendous waves into educating kids. We have kids who are doctors and lawyers and judges and just awesome professions.
So where do you see education going? What do you want to see happen?
I want to see kids' social, emotional issues attended to so they can attend to their cognitive needs, their academic needs. I think a lot of kids have a lot going on emotionally, and they need to know that people have problems in life, but you still have to get an education if you expect to be able to get a good job, get a nice house, a nice family, be able to give back to others, support other people. And I think that's what we need to concentrate on, the social, emotional needs of those kids who are not able to attend to their academics.
So you mean like a stronger mental health piece?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because I think that seems to be kind of missing, I think, in this conversation around education.
Right.
I mean, I think we've always there's guidance counselors and but I think there needs to be some real mental health professionals.
Well, when I say trauma, that's all inclusive, because Dr. David Johnson, who's a mental health service, he's in a lot of the schools in New Haven, supporting students around their mental health issues. Most schools have really good social workers who do a lot of work with children. And then we have Dr. Akbar and her group working with kids. And there are a lot of agencies working with kids.
Yeah, because it seems to be like I've never seen so many kids with so many challenges needing services all the time. And maybe because we just didn't label things, or we didn't call things. We just said a kid was bad and we didn't get to the root of it. We're just like, oh, that kid is just a bad kid. Nope.
Well, I don't think we have as many services or programs on the outside for kids. We don't have a lot of places where kids can go as respite. I know there's the Children's Center in the Boys and Girls Village, but kids who there's so many kids needing services. I think,
like they might not need that level of respite. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a high level of, if you're going to the Children's Center, that's a high level of care. But you might need something that's not that, but something.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's so many kids in need. I don't know if the social service people can
keep up
with them.
Yeah, because So the Teacherama. So what can parents expect? What's the day gonna look like for parents?
Well, the day is going to be getting ready for the FAFSA process.
Oh, that should take all day.
Yeah. Teaching the kids how to write essays,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a session on Comer's 6 developmental pathways, how kids grow and develop along these pathways that Dr. Comer talks about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the cognitive, the physical pathway, the ethical pathway, the speech and language, social, emotional, psychological pathways. If you know how to look, I can look at a kid and tell which of their pathways need to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it their ethical pathway? Is it their physical pathway? You can look at kids and tell if they are drug induced or if they are malnourished, if they need some medical attention, and try to provide that service to the kids. And I think all educators need to be able to use those 6 developmental pathways to support kids, provide services to them. And I'm going to provide a workshop on Saturday to talk about those pathways and activities and resources that can help develop kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good because I think teachers are in classrooms with lots of kids with varying types of mental health issues,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to deal with those things before any teaching and learning could be done.
Absolutely.
Like I have to get through all this before I can even write on the board.
Right. That's the truth.
And I think sometimes teachers might feel a little helpless, or because I don't know if they prepare you in teacher college how to like deal with that.
Not for everything that comes our way.
No,
And a lot comes our way.
No. So, are you optimistic about more teachers of color coming into the profession?
Well, I haven't been close to the personnel office in the last year or so to see where they're recruiting, but I know we're trying to recruit teachers from, you know, the South. You know, the weather has a lot to do with folks wanting to come up north.
Yeah.
The economy has a lot to
I mean,
do
there was
with it.
there was a wave of teachers that came from the South, you know, and to the North for educational purposes to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just like, and then we saw people like go back.
Well, it's the economy, I think. I don't think it's necessarily the anything to do with the educational system. I think the economy doesn't support, you know, them staying
here.
Yeah,
because it's expensive.
It is,
and you want you know you. It's hard to buy a house here on a teacher's salary.
You're right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but if you're not married to somebody,
right,
you know, and have that double income,
mm-hmm.
it's hard. And if you want a nice house and all the things that we say, you know, success is.
Right. And apartments are expensive too.
Oh my God. Yes.
So, yeah, it is difficult.
Yeah. And if you want to live someplace nice, safe, and clean,
mm-hmm.
it's going to cost you.
Absolutely.
Right?
And if you're coming with a spouse, you have to make certain that there's enough job interests for that person as well. So it's a big decision to make.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know I made the decision because my husband was being relocated to New Haven.
Okay.
And he worked for an oil company, and he was on the ladder to move up, you know. So we were lucky, you know, and I've enjoyed living in New Haven area for about 38 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But other people aren't that, you know.
Yeah, because it's,
lucky.
I mean, the good thing about being in this part of the country, though, and I'm hoping that they make this known to people when they recruit, that, you know, you're close to New York and Boston, and, you know, you can take in some of the cultural things, and that, you know, I think teachers like that kind of thing. You know, they want to be able to be accessible to museums and other points of interest, and you know, like they can't go to Dubai, but they can.
There's a lot at Yale.
Yes.
Yeah. I was involved in the Yale New Haven Teachers Institute, and that was.
Is that still around?
I'm not sure.
Because I remember that. I used to send Jumpstart volunteers to that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an eye opener and a wonderful opportunity to meet Yale professors and to do research at that level. And I never thought it would prepare me to go to Columbia, but, you know, working at Yale and Teachers Institute and writing those curricula, it was amazing.
Yeah. I have to find out if that's still around and then have them on and talk to them because I thought they were doing really good work. What do you think of these Teach for America people?
I've met a lot of some of them, and they're creative. They bring a lot to the table, a lot of them. But, they're not here for the long run. They're here to get the experience. I think some of them stay, and I've been around a few of them, and they're very interesting young people. They've had experiences elsewhere, and they bring some of their talent to the classroom. So, it depends on what you can bring to students. Yeah.
Well, the Teacherama is Saturday, October 20th at 115 Water Street, the Metropolitan Business Academy, New Haven. It's from 9 till 3. The day is chock full of activities and speakers and workshops, and there's going to be lunch, right?
Yes.
Lunch.
And breakfast.
And breakfast, lunch, and networking. If you want some more information, there's a raffle. There's going to be a conference survey, so go. You should go. Contact Kimberly Phillips at ctteach0622@gmail.com or Shaka Felder -McIntyre at shakafelder@gmail.com. Shaka like Shaka Khan, CHAKAFELDER @gmail.com. Thank you, Dr. Belinda Carberry.
Thank you for having me.
This was my pleasure. I'm glad I got a chance to sit and talk with you.
Yes, indeed.
So good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to hearing updates about it.
We certainly will inform you.
Come back anytime.
I will. I'll send my son in.
Oh, yes. Tell him. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him about that Yale experience and his career and his life and the books.
Okay.
All right?
I will.
Thank you so much. All right, Harry, I'm going to play us out. Right.